Yes, dear listener, you're very welcome back to the Last Mixtape podcast with me, Stephen White. And in this week's episode, I want to talk to you a little bit about Childish Gambino and his brand new album, Atavista, and more specifically, the idea of artist and performer. I believe Childish Gambino is somebody who comes into the artist category of things. The idea that these two things are quite separate but have their own merit. A performer can be somebody who is a musician or an actor or whomever, who's a master of their craft. When I think of a performer in the terms of music, I would think of somebody maybe like Frank Sinatra, an amazing singer who wouldn't write his own music, but had a performance and gave a performance that would stand out from the crowd. An idea of an artist in this state would be David Bowie, somebody who would indeed write their own music, but oversee every single aspect of it, would be involved in the production, the engineering, the writing, the sound of it, how he looked whilst performing it. Same with his stage shows. Bowie oversaw, almost like a director would, every aspect of his albums and his output. Childish Gambino fits very well into that category. He is an artist. When he releases an album, it has a very defined sense of self and sense of time within his work. You can feel that every aspect of his work indeed has a place that it fits into. He's trying to say something, trying to do something with it, whether it was with Redbone or Awaken My Love, the album which it came from, that had a very distinct sound and feel, that kind of Prince-esque feel that Redbone had, and indeed the album itself. With This Is America, it more captured the time and what was happening around it. It blew up online, and indeed the music video itself was pretty much the focal point for a lot of people within it. People delved into the video, seeing what they could find, including myself, in amongst the meaning and the concepts. He was an artist who creates a body of work. Atavista itself is a reimagining of an album that came out during lockdown, and with the added tracks like Littlefoot, Bigfoot. Itself a song that almost follows that Outcast-esque Heya feel of very bright, happy pop sounding, whilst the undercurrent and the meaning of the song, that about growing up without a father or growing up without influence, strong influence in his life, affected and can affect people. Childish Gambino is one of those artists that whenever they release something, you sit up to attention. Now that's not to say that performers don't fill that same space. There are plenty of amazing musicians and vocalists who don't write their own music, are not as involved in their own music, but are compelling all the same. It's a very different headspace. A performer hones in on a certain aspect of what they do and perfects that. In a lot of ways, the performer can be better than the artist in the performance, whereas the artist may be looking in the macro as opposed to the micro. These are different headspaces and different places to be, but there's always interest in me. Who fits into what and where? Childish Gambino is one of those artists where you know that in decades to come, people will continue to study and look at their music. In the same way, you could say that Taylor Swift is an artist. She writes the songs, the look and the feel of each album is very clearly directed by her, and that she has kind of dominated that space. Each album has something very different about it, and it feeds into the music, the production, everything. Artists are very controlling in what they do, and you need to almost be that, whereas a performer can be a little bit looser. Somebody who can explore a piece given to them rather than having to think of every single aspect. I would see a lot of actors in this space, using the script and using the words and adding themselves to it. Childish Gambino's Atavista sprawls and has different types of sound to it that his other records didn't. It's a compelling release in many ways.